All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a little piece of invisible web magic. It's something that makes your favorite websites load at, well, lightning speed. It's a true unsung hero of the internet, working silently in the background every single day.
I mean, you've totally felt this, right? You visit a website, click around a bit, leave, and then come back an hour later. And bam, the page just snaps into place, almost like it was waiting for you. How on earth does that happen? Well, it's not actually magic, but it's pretty darn close.
So, that's what we're going to solve today, the instant reload mystery. What is actually going on behind the scenes? Well, the answer comes down to a simple, elegant piece of code, the HTTP 304. So let's meet the hero of our story. A 304 not modified is basically a super efficient message from a web server. It's the server telling your browser, hey, you know that logo you're asking for? Yeah, it hasn't changed a bit. Just use the copy you already saved. It's a direct order to load from your local files, your cache. Now, to really get what makes the 304 code so special, it helps to put it next to a couple of other codes you've probably heard of. You know, 404, right? That means, sorry, can't find it. And 200 OK is the standard success. Here's the whole file you wanted. The 304 is completely different. It says, yep, I have the file, but you already have the exact same copy, so let's just save ourselves some time. So how does this actually work in practice? The best way to think about it is like a very quick, very specific conversation between your browser and the website server. It's kind of like a three-step dance. First, your browser asks a smart, conditional question. It doesn't just say, give me the file. It asks, should I get the file? Second, the server does a quick check and replies. And third, based on that answer, your browser knows, aha, I can just use the copy I already have, and the page loads in a flash. Okay, let's get just a little more specific, but I promise this is pretty straightforward. The browser uses special messages, called headers, to ask one of two key questions. With a header called if modified since, it's basically asking, hey, has this image file changed since Tuesday at 10 a.m.? The other way is with something called an E tag. You can think of it like a unique serial number for a file. Using the if none match header, the browser asks, does this file still have the serial number XYZ123? If the answer to either of those questions is no, nothing's changed, the server replies with that 304 code, and absolutely no file is transferred. It's pure efficiency. So we've covered the how, which is pretty cool, but now let's get to the why. Why is this one simple message so incredibly crucial for the way the web works today? Turns out, the real-world benefits are massive. I mean, just look at this. That huge bar, that's your first visit to a website. You have to download everything from scratch. The images, the styles, the whole shebang. Now see that tiny little bar next to it? That's your return visit. Thanks to the 304 code, the only thing that gets transferred is that tiny little use your cache message. That is the difference between waiting and, whoa, that was fast. And this efficiency creates this amazing win-win-win-win situation. For you, the user, pages load way, way faster. For the website owner, their server has a lot less work to do, which saves them money. For your data plan, you're using way less bandwidth, which is a huge deal if you're on a phone. And believe it or not, for search engines like Google, which love fast websites, it can even lead to better search rankings. Everybody wins. But you know how it goes. What happens when this system works a little too well? You've probably been there. You visit a site and you're seeing an old version, even though you know your friend is seeing a new update. That's when the cache becomes a problem. So who's the culprit when this happens? Well, it usually comes down to one of three main suspects. It could be an issue with the server's configuration. Maybe the settings that control caching are a little off. It might be your own browser just being a bit stubborn and holding on to that old version. Or if the site uses a content delivery network, or CDN, it's possible one of those servers scattered around the world has an old copy stuck in its memory. Okay, so you're stuck looking at an outdated web page. What is the absolute fastest, simplest way to figure out if your own browser is the problem? The answer is so simple. Just try incognito or private mode. These modes start with a clean slate. They don't use your existing cache. So if the website loads the new version correctly there, you know for sure the issue is with the old data saved in your regular browser. It's an amazing first step for troubleshooting. And this really gets to the heart of the challenge for anyone running a website. It is all about finding that perfect balance. You want those incredible performance gains you get from caching, but you absolutely have to make sure your users are seeing the freshest, most up-to-date content. It's a constant
and totally crucial balancing act.
The 304 code is just a perfect example of a hidden, brilliant optimization that makes our digital lives faster and smoother. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other invisible shortcuts and clever little efficiencies are working behind the scenes every single day to make the web feel so seamless? It's something to think about next time a page loads in the blink of an eye.